Hello there, and welcome to Thursday, October 11th, 2012. Well, this year being an election year, and as usual, the issue of health care is firmly on the agenda between the two presidential candidates, Barack Obama and Mitt Romney. Well, today I'm going to share with you two recent experiences I've had with health care in America, relating directly to me first, and to a news story I recently heard about that occurred over a year ago. Now, my story is that I'm sure all of you are aware that for about a year now, since 2011, I've been having some health issues. Now, in May of this past year, 2012, I had a tonsillectomy. Now, that was supposed to take care of it, but the symptoms that I had before are still there, and my tonsils and my throat area appear to be fine, and there appear to be no troubles with that. So the doctor that actually did the tonsillectomy suggested that I may have a problem with acid reflux. And the trouble with that was that he didn't know how else to proceed, because he was an ENT, not a specialist in acid reflux. So I went to another doctor for a second opinion, and he told me the only way to really find out formally that I had acid reflux was to do a scope, and that they would put me out to do so the invasive procedure wouldn't affect me that much, but that I needed a referral from my primary doctor to do it. So I set it up. Well, my primary doctor had a very different story about both the scoping and acid reflux. He had put in a referral for me, but said that there was absolutely no guarantee that the gastrologist would even scope. Dashed a lot of my hopes, because this is the only thing that I could see that might actually
be causing this trouble at this particular point. Not only that, but he also continued to add that the scoping was an invasive procedure and that they would not put me out all the way as I was told. So I pointed out the credibility gap right there, that I had already been told two things, and both of them were said to have been correct. And instead of actually suggesting a third alternative, he suggested, before I even think about the scoping, that I try to treat the supposed acid reflux with a medication I never heard of. And earlier in the year, I had some bad reactions to some allergy medications I was taking, again, on the same kind of proviso. And it's strange, because that goes against everything I understand about medical ethics. I have no articulation in my mind that dispersing drugs to cure an illness that you don't even know you have yet and haven't been formally diagnosed with is not legitimate practice of medicine, and I'm sorry, I just can't support that. And that pointed out to me perhaps one of the healthcare problems in America, that doctors' right hands don't know what their left hands are doing. And this can be proved quite factually. A few days later, a friend of mine showed me a video on YouTube that talked about a man named James Verone in North Carolina, who actually held up a bank for $1 a year ago. And why did he do this? Simply because he wanted to get into the local prison. He had an injury that his insurance did not pick up on, and he was under the impression that if he went to prison, he would get better medical treatment. Now, of course, he didn't have the wherewithal to hold at the bank for anything more than $1, and he just handed them a note. He didn't actually have a gun. And he didn't recommend anybody else do this, I should add. But the story that I've had to tell you today, and the story of Mr. James Verone, although in his case he took much more desperate actions than myself or anybody I know would ever even consider in their wildest dreams, points to a very sad state of affairs. If people on two sides of a medical tract don't know what the other is saying and can't communicate with each other, and note my primary doctor did not get the paperwork in about the second opinion before he made the statement, and what happened to James Verone actually going to the extreme of committing a crime,
Well, is our healthcare system going to turn us into a group of criminals in the future? Is that what it's come to? Well, if that's the case, I think something has to be done. And the only thing I intend to do is to make it clear to any doctors I meet in the future that I expect there to be a very, very good sense of communication between them and the other doctors that I'm seeing. So that at least in my case, this kind of thing won't happen again. And I intend to advise my friends and all of you out here on YouTube, if you care about your health and your body, you'll change the priorities of your life and do the same thing. Thank you for listening to my vlog.